Sure, Azim. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session for Form Recognizer, which is a part of the Azure Cognitive Services. I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Hatim Nagarwala, and I'm an Azure AI MVP. I stay in Dubai, and I work with the Executive Council of Dubai. And my main job here is to architect things, help other systems and other government entities out here to help them actually build up with multiple systems, including web, mobile, and AI related applications. For today's session, what I would be doing is I'll take you through what exactly Form Recognizer is, how does it fit into the landscape of Azure Cognitive Services, how you can actually go ahead and start with the Form Recognizer, what are the benefits of it, and what is the concept behind how it works in that case. So basically, after this session, if you have any use cases or you have any ideas which you want to implement using the Form Recognizer, you would be able to get a quick start, a jump start with today's session. In any questions you have in between, you can just post it on the chat. And after this session, we can also have a Q&A session if you have any queries related to the session. So let's jump right into the session. So right now there is a lot of you can say talks about what are the building blocks of our future right now and where are we going in the technology landscape in today's world. So you might have heard about things on the board right now, which is uh, you have mixed reality, you have quantum computing, you have artificial intelligence going on, and you have blockchain. uh, I would actually take one of them, which is the artificial intelligence, as our today's building block for our session to start with. Uh, these are the other hot topics, or you can say, the things which are advancing really fast in the coming days as of now. Uh, Considering artificial intelligence and where Microsoft is heading to in that case. So Microsoft is investing into three main aspects of this. One of them is the AI platform. Second is using this artificial intelligence and infusing it into our existing applications. And third one is coming up with business solutions, taking these business solutions and including a flavor of AI into that. So if we say what is our main AI platform or what are the things which we can use in the subset of AI platform, we'll actually go through one of them in our session today. We'll see what is infusing AI in our existing applications and what are the business solutions we can actually come up with in that case. So if I talk about infusing AI, right? Uh, One of the quick examples which I can show you right now is I will stop my slides for a moment, and what I will do is I will just go ahead. We were doing this presentation uh, using Microsoft PowerPoint, right? So now what you saw is I had my presentation up and running. What I want to do right now is I want to enable the subtitles which I'm talking about. So this is one part of infusing AI into my PowerPoint. So if you can see right now while I'm presenting and what I'm speaking is actually converted real time from speech to text, which is one of the AI services which we have right now. And that is converted and being displayed real time to you. So this is one of a great examples of how Office, Windows, and Visual Studio teams are actually taking uh, this kind of smart AI related or AI related workloads and being added to our existing applications in that case. So some of the other examples are if you're using Word, you can actually use Resume Assistants in that case. If you're using Visual Studio, you can actually create deep learning models and frameworks in that case. You have few pre-built libraries. If you're using PowerPoint, if you're putting up the content, there is a designer available which suggests you what kind of designs you can actually put it on your slide or how you can actually format your slide. So some of this are a part of how AI is being infused in your day-to-day applications and products which you're using from Microsoft. So let's come back to Azure Cognitive Services. So Azure Cognitive Services, if I want to divide, I can divide it into two types of services. One of them is a perception based services where you are actually using few of the cognitive services to display or to understand. So one of this, the example which we saw right now in PowerPoint is kind of speech to text, which is a perception which I am not putting any AI into it. What I'm putting AI into it is converting from one form to another. Same with vision. So you have a picture and you're trying to understand from the picture of what exactly is included in that picture. Same with the speech, whatever I'm speaking right now is being converted into text. So this is kind of perception-based APIs available from Azure Cognitive Services. And the second one is comprehension-based services, where the AI will come up with suggestions with answers to the problems and other details to it. So if I want to give you an example, translator service is one of them. Language understanding integrated services. Lewis, if you have heard about it, is one of these services where whatever text you are using. So in the next session, when you actually go into bot framework, you will understand when how the intent and how your language understanding is done. So that is part of comprehension. And knowledge-based services is also where you train your model accordingly, and depending on that, you create your own knowledge base. And whenever you try to query your data accordingly, your knowledge base is queried in that case, and the answers will be suggested in that. So if I go back and understand where or which business applications I can use this Azure Cognitive Services or AI to infuse in my day-to-day business applications. So you can actually go ahead and build chatbots where you have agents, where agents can be B2B agents, B2C agents, or B2E agents in that case. You have person detection. So there are some cognitive services which helps you to actually detect your face. There was a very cool example which I worked in the past was to detect activity and detect objects in that case, which helps you to understand abnormality or anomaly in any case. Also to understand whether a person is actually authorized to be to be in that place or not. So you're actually democratizing AI in your day-to-day life in that case. You have AI assisted professionals in that case where AI can help you suggest few things in terms of healthcare industries, in terms of legal industries and financial industries in that case. Few examples of them is like the stock market, in terms of marketing, where and when you actually should post your pictures and stuff like that. Next one is knowledge mining, where uh, which is one of the important part of what we'll be doing today in that case, which is actually going through documents and analyzing the documents in that case. And the last one is autonomous systems. You might have heard about Tesla, which is how autonomous systems work in that case. You have also heard about the robotic process automations. There are multiple tools out there which also uses this as a base and actually goes ahead and gives you business solutions in that case. So what exactly is cognitive services, right? So cognitive services in a very simple word is you're actually giving a human side to your applications. Simply using 5 main pillars of it, which is you can give vision to your applications, you can give speech to your applications, you can give language understanding to your applications, you can give search capabilities where you can have bring millions of data together and search on top of that. And you have decision-based services where the AI model will help you to make decision depending on what kind of model you train on that. So this cognitive services APIs, there are many actually, and they are linked to the 5 pillars which we discussed. One is your vision, you have your search, decision making, speech, and the language. So if I go into details on each one of them, the vision one consists of, the face recognition, emotion recognition, text recognition, which is the OCR. You have the understanding of the scenario, and all these things comes into vision when you want to detect something on a picture. Speech will be mostly text to speech, speech to text, understanding whose voice it is, training your own voice in terms of responding to users and stuff. Language understanding is more of detecting which language it is, understanding what the user is trying to say, different languages understanding. So you can have multiple languages involved in your model. You have translations, you have entity extractions, which is mostly used in Lewis, which you might get to know in the future. You have knowledge-based services, which is there's a very cool service, which is the Q&A service. You have your knowledge-based creation using Q&A. You can have semantic matching in that case, and you can have any personalized learning. If you want to add in your knowledge base, you can actually go ahead and do that. Last one is the search, which is you can actually use the search in almost any applications you want to, where you have entity recognition out there. You have you can actually do searches on both text and images and documents in that case. So it's free of what type of search you want to perform and where you want to perform it. You can actually search it over almost anything you want to do. So which sets our context over here of what are we going to do today, right? So you can see there is so much of data in this room, right? And understanding the latent value in all this content is very difficult. Like, there is so much data over here, but it is almost impossible to actually, go through them at an instant, or to, find out something useful out of this loads of data. So AI is here to help us, right? Considering I have these three things in front of me, and I'm running various cognitive services and things on top of all these documents, what I get from this, right? So one of the document is a handwritten document, which is on the back, which if you see on the right hand side, it actually validated and it actually read that text, which is validate the enrichment pipeline. The second was a picture. So it actually gives me an insight of what is there in that picture, which is a girl is throwing a ball. It's a basketball. There's grass in it, stuff like that. And you can actually, caption that picture saying a girl is throwing that ball. And if I see the third one is a form. And from the form, I want to actually pick up necessary information from that, which is one of them is the name of the person. I want to know where she stays and, what are the rest of the information which are included in that form. So if I see whatever has been picked up from the document is one is the name of the person, which is the first name. Second, it considered what kind of other persons are actually included, which is Conrad Neuber. It included the locations which are included in this document, and finally the organization. So our main context over here to set up is how you can actually take up this kind of documents and convert it into something which is kind of useful for us. So let's see. Turning documents into usable data is very challenging. To go through each and every document in that case, and understanding what is included in the document is very difficult, right? If you have a format where you want to understand what the document is, yes, it might ease up a little bit, but it is still difficult. It's prone to error because you're actually going through each and every document one by one, and you are putting it into some Excel or a database or whatever you feel. So it's expensive because your business needs to hire someone to actually continuously go through all these documents and fetch data from these documents. So there are processes, where in a simple example where you are actually raising an invoice, the invoice goes to the customer, they sign it, come back again. You want to understand what are the changes or what is there in that invoice and put it back to our. It is a long process in that case. So it's still time consuming and it's not that easy. So what is the solution to this problem? So there is a service which is available in Azure Cognitive Services, which is called as Form Recognizer. So Azure Form Recognizer is a service which uses machine learning from Microsoft to identify and extract key value pairs from your documents. So this document is right now structured in a way. So we don't know yet what kind of structure it is available. But we want to actually fetch what data is important for us and fetch that data from it and give it to the end user. So the form recognizer in the background uses unsupervised learning. So whatever models are being created are unsupervised, and depending on what you have, they go ahead and detect. It supports printed and handwritten forms, including PDF files, images, whatever type of documents you have. It can support that, and form recognizer can actually detect it. Currently, it is available in English, and additional languages are growing up. So you can actually go ahead and start using it from today. So this document extraction service, what it does is it tries to understand what is in your form and try to give you the details. So in the background, what happens is you can actually go ahead and customize how the extraction should happen from your forms. You have an ability to actually use this service on the cloud, or you can still use it on-prem by having a container image of the form recognizer and host it on-prem in that case. You have industry grade security and privacy included on top of this. So if you are hosting it on-prem, it's you can put any type of privacy and security. If you're still on the cloud, you have various standards which are being followed. So your data is being secured in that case. You can add on top of it the Azure Search, which is one of the good features where if you have millions of documents and you want to go through them and search on top of that, still it is possible using both Form Recognizer and adding Azure Search on top of that. So how does this data extraction works, right? So in any data structure, you want to actually fetch this data. This can be either images or PDF files. And what you want to do is you want to actually take all this data and put it into a structured format. So in this current example, what we are trying to do is we are taking all this data, whatever is available in my forms, converting it into either tables or necessary key value pairs we want to put. So this is actually divided into two parts. Okay, one is pre-built in models which are available with Form Recognizer, and the second one is custom ones which are not available with Form Recognizer, but you as a user can actually train your own model to understand and to know what kind of models you can train on top of it. So to understand this, what are custom models and what are pre-built models in that case? Let's go ahead and check that. So the form recognizer APIs are divided into this many models. The general document model, which is currently in preview, which is more of a generic kind of a model where you upload any kind of document and it tries to help you extract the entities from it. There is a layout model. There is a business card model. So if your document fits in one of these models, you don't need to train it with any amount of data. Directly, you go ahead, select what kind of model you're going to use it, and from the image one or from the document one, you can actually start getting the information. For custom models, you will have to train the model and then maintain the accuracy in that case, so that you get better results when you're training your own custom model. So there is a business card model. There is an ID document, which is your ID cards, your passport documents, and stuff like that. You have your invoice model, you have your receipt model, and you have your custom model. So let's dig deep into each and every models and where and how it is being used. So the first one is the general document model. It supports, as I told you, most of the form types and will try to analyze your documents and whatever values have been included, and it discovers whatever data you have. Plus, this is a pre-trained model, as I told you, which can be also used using REST APIs. So you just need to give your data, like your file through your REST API, and you will get the response in key value pairs in a JSON format. So if you see on the right hand side, what is happening over here is whenever we scan this document or we go through it through the form recognizer using the general document model, it is giving me all the information which it is trying to fetch with the actual accuracy of what it means in that case. So if you see on the right hand side, if I can take my mouse over here. So if you see over here, this is the accuracy of what it has detected out here with the details of it. And this is how the general document model will work. The layout model is a bit different in that case, where if you take care of the same document, what it will do is it will give you exactly where that data is present also. Also, it tries to analyze your. So right now, this is in the actual. You can use this in the production environment. For general model, it is still in preview. So maybe later on this API might go into depreciation. So the layout API analyzes and extracts this text and gives you the data where exactly they found you this data with a bounding box, so that if you want to do an auditing later on, that also can be done in that case. The next one is the invoice model. So the invoice model understands invoice kind of a document, whether it is a sales invoice or quotation invoice, and whatever type of invoices you have in any format of your company, doesn't matter in that case, because the model is trained in such a way that you get the proper information. Plus, moreover, I'm not sure whether this is properly visible to your screens, but whenever you actually go through the invoice model, as an output, you get fixed entities which are kind of important as an invoice model. So, for example, what is the billing address, what is the customer name, if there is any due date, what is the amount due, what is the other information about that, plus the bounding boxes where exactly they found this thing. So if you see over here, what is the amount due, where it found that amount due, billing addresses, the recipient billing address, and the source billing address, if there is an account number involved in it. So all these things actually is pre-built in an invoice model. So if you are trying to access any invoices in that case, this is very beneficial to use directly the invoice model. The next one is the receipt model. The receipt model analyzes any kinds of receipts you have. So in that case, same way how you saw the invoice model, it represents what is the merchant name, the phone number, the transaction date, what was the total cost, and all the details related to how a receipt would look like. So depending, it doesn't matter, which company's receipt it is. Like in our example right now, it's a Starbucks receipt. You can have any type of receipt. So what we'll do is I have a small demo after this. We will try to take an image or a receipt from Google, and we'll try to test it with the actual receipt model which is available in the form recognizer. The next one is the ID document, which analyzes so there was one case study which I saw, where in US the driver licenses, all the 50 states have a different design. So if you go ahead and verify that using the form recognizer, you get exactly what is the address, the country of origin, the date of birth of the user, expiration date of your driving license, your name, the region, and everything. So all this data is available to you directly. You just put the ID document in that case, and you can use that. And the last one, which is the last pre-built entity which we have over here, is the business card model. So the business card model is also a similar way, irrespective of the design. It extracts the key information, which is your name, your phone number, your email address, and puts it into a structure which you are expecting as an end user in that case. The final one is the custom model. So the custom model is where you come up with your own business in that case. And there is a program where you can actually go ahead and label your important things into your document. And once you label that and you train accordingly, the model will understand and get used to the documents which you are providing it to the model. And then depending on how the model is trained and how much data is being provided, you can go ahead and start detecting your custom documents in that case. So I've seen, so what happens here is your base machine learning model is still with Microsoft. So you don't have to provide thousands of PDFs in that case. When you start with one or two PDFs also, you will know that the model performs really, really well in that case. And it tries to understand as and when you provide more and more data into that case. So what we'll do is this, I'll show you this tool also, how this tool is useful for us in terms of both custom model and using the pre-built models in that case. On a high level, what happens then is, so you ingest all your documents, which is either your images, your PDF documents, or a scanned or a written document in that case. You extract by detecting which type of document it is. So we saw all the types of document like the ID document, your receipts, your invoices, and you discover what are the keys and what the end results, what type of structure you're expecting from your documents. This structure is then extracted into key value pairs, and that key value pairs with the bounding boxes where exactly it is present is actually provided to you as an end user, which you can easily use it using your REST APIs. And how this AI-driven knowledge mining works is, if I come back to a storyline, which is how this actually comes up into cognitive services, and how this works is, you have your structured or unstructured data in terms of either tables or documents in that case. The next process is document cracking happens, and all your document is being analyzed in terms of what kind of details you want. And then you can enrich it using your cognitive skills, which is your vision, language, speech, and decision making. And then you enrich it by putting a search index on top of it, or displaying it as charts, or using it in your bot framework, or analyzing it in your Power BI. So let me quickly go ahead and go ahead and show you one of the examples we have. Let me go ahead and bring up that screen. I'll share the URLs on Teams after we are done with the session. So this is a web application which you can also have it downloaded on your desktops. It's supported both on Windows and Mac. Here, what you can do is this tool is used to either custom train your models, or you can use your pre-built models which are available in the form recognizer, and you can actually go ahead and start recognizing. By default, what you need to first do is come back again and set up your details, which is your API key and the form recognizer service endpoint. What I would like to show you is I would like to show how to first create this form recognizer in that case, and then we can come back to this step. Let me open a new browser. And let me share the screen, and let's go to our Azure account. So what I've done is for a time over here, I've just created yesterday one form recognizer. And what I will do is I'll show you how to first create that. You can just go ahead and create a new resource and click form recognizer in that case. There are two pricing models right now, which is supported in the form recognizer, which is the free plan, which I think so gives you Let me go ahead and put it in my demos. Okay, and we'll try to host it in UAE, and global AI back together. So I'll just put a AI back together. And as I told you, there are two pricings. You have the free tier, which gives you 500 pages per month and 20 calls per minute. So this is one of the free ones. The standard ones is divided into two parts. If I'm not wrong, there is a plan which uses $10 with the standard ones, and the second one is $50 for every 1,000 documents. Let's check form recognizer pricing. So if you go ahead and verify the pricing over here. So as I told you, if you have your custom or any invoice type, it's $50 per 1,000 pages in that case. And the one which is with pre-built, which is the layout receipt or the business card or the ID cards, is $10 per 1,000 pages. So, and sorry for this, this is, I guess, 500 pages and not 500 documents in that case. So if your document consists of more than one pages, this will affect your. So let's go back again to our project. So basically, you just need to create a new form recognizer in that case. I will cancel this and I will open the one which I created yesterday. What the only important thing what you need to do over here is you will need to copy the key which you'll be using it in your application and the endpoint you want to utilize it. So you can have your keys and endpoints being resetted out here, and you can utilize this directly in your application. So let's come back to our demo over here. So I have inputted my service endpoint and the API key in that case. And in this case, I will have to select which type of document I'm trying to analyze it. So let's go ahead and first search for business card online. So business cards sample. Let's take any sample available. So let me go ahead and take one of the sample available. Let's take what feels good or difficult one. So let's try maybe this one. Okay. And what I will do is I'll go ahead and save this. Save image. And I'll go ahead and store it in my downloads as of now, or maybe in my documents better. So save it. And let's come back to our demo, which is this one, and I will go ahead and test this. So I guess this is the one. Go back again, browse the file, and it's in my documents. Let's take the business card, and I want to run. I guess the image is a bit unclear in that case, so maybe we'll have to check another one in that case. Let's take this one and save this in my documents and come back again. Even I couldn't read it, so it will be very difficult for the AI to to read that text. So this still looks better. Let's go ahead and try our prediction in that case. This is of a type business card and run this analytics. If you see over here, this bounding boxes are created. The company name, it took, where is the company name? First of all, the contact name, which is Valeris. First name is Valeris and last name is Massimanius, which is correct. His email is a website at mail.com, which is even correct. The job title is executive director, and the address is correctly verified, phone number is there, and the website is also detected. So basically, the confidence is also next to each other, that what type of data it is expecting to be, and it's you see it's out of the box. You just go ahead and check what image you want. Let's go ahead and take a receipt sample. So receipt sample. I guess let's take the petrol station one, which is over here. Let's take this example. Let me save this image and store it out here. Let me come back again to my demo. Now we'll move this to a receipt. Check my file and try to run the analytics. So if you see, the merchant name is PK Fuel Station. Then you have the merchant phone number. It's the total amount, which this was very old, I think so. 1 liter petrol was 78, which is way back. So yes, the transaction date is 2017, and this is the value out here and the merchant phone number in that case. So as you can see that it's so simple. It's easy to use this. I will go ahead and share with you the URL also in that case, and how to use it. But this is kind of I consider this as an end user APIs, which helps us to go ahead and use this finished services and try to utilize it in our applications. So thanks a lot, everyone. This is it for today from my side. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you can go ahead and uh, ask me out. Share with you this URL because I feel this sample which we have used, there is a GitHub link on this, and there are few applications which were built. There is some quick start applications which are provided by Azure in that case, which will help the users to jumpstart this. And so this is the link for the form recognizer samples on the Teams. I have shared it already, and there is there's a sample tool. I will share that link also. That sample tool, you can look at it. And one more thing, Kasim, that there's a currently we are using this 2.1 version of Form Recognizer, but right now there is the 3.0 version which is in preview, which looks more exciting in that case. And if you guys are starting with Form Recognizer, you should definitely check that out because honestly, for me, I have tried to include so many use cases out here in my work environment where Form Recognizer, can be included as a part of it. And the best part is you have REST APIs available, so you can include it in any kind of your applications you have or any processes you have in that case.